Welcome all of you again this morning to our third in our series with Linda Kleist with Identity Creative. And I know that all of you have heard an introduction of Linda in weeks past, and so I will not go into too much detail again, but Linda, just first and foremost, I want to say thank you again for doing these webinars. They have been extremely informative, and I've taken pages of notes from every single one of them. So thank you again for doing that. And I will say just in the interim, for this one, Linda said she's got a lot of content to cover. Linda, did you want to field questions throughout? You want to wait till the end? What's your preference?
Just throw out your question.
Very good. And on that note, I will turn it over to you.
Yeah, I think we have a small enough group that it can be as though we're sitting around a table and just have a discussion. So that's great. And thank you, Jean and Alex. It's really a pleasure to work with the Auburn Hills Chamber. You guys are great. I think everybody here is a chamber member. Yes. Yeah, good. Good. We want to grow a good, strong chamber. You guys do an excellent job. You have carried through, plus with the whole shutdown thing, and been really impressive. Okay, let's keep going. Let's move on. What we want to do is talk a bit about what we're going to cover. So I don't like reading slides to people. Here, I've got all these words. Basically, your website, we want to create that path that leads customers to you. That's what we want to focus on here. It is that first impression when someone goes to check you out. So it can either attract them or it can turn them off. But it can also be a way, and we want to make it a way to nurture that relationship. So get this here. We want to cover successful marketing, starting with a clear, compelling message. We talked about that in session 1, hit it back on it in session 2. We'll touch base back with that again and hone it now for your marketing. How to make your website a net to capture those leads, those people who stop and visit. And then the key elements of a lead nurture system. Let me ask right now, just raise your hand if you've already got a lead nurture where you have maybe a download on the website. Do you guys have a download on the website? No. Do you have an email? Are you guys using email software? Yes, okay. We'll talk a little bit about this, and then I know that there are some people who can't make the webinar at this time and then listen to the replay, so we'll still hit on some of those things if you don't have those yet. So we have tools and guides to create that message, how your CRM is so critical in lead generation for online marketing, and we also have a comparison guide. It's from 2020, so it's not going to last forever, but it's still got a lot of relevant stuff in there. So a quick review of where we've been. We talked about clarifying with a brand blueprint. We're going to touch back again on that because when you're branding, you want to keep that foundation, those abstract pieces of your brand in focus. That's the challenge, is not get ADD with our brands. We talked about creating that look, your unique logo, and then your standards, how to keep that consistent to build credibility. And then today we're going to talk about connecting. Not all of these things is in terms of launching a brand new logo, but in terms of your messaging and your marketing online. So we have this tool if you want to, but you see the lower, we want to keep strengthening, staying consistent with our messaging, build a brand message that supports our sales, reinforces our brand promise, and integrate marketing and sales with the customer service so that that mission, it's on the same page. We keep reinforcing it. And that is a huge challenge. We're a very small company, and that's a challenge for us. So if you think about it, who is the person in your company who is the chief repeating officer? We'll touch base on this again, but you really want that mission, why we're doing what we're doing and what we do to transform lives, make the change in people's lives. Who's doing that? So we talked about putting these things on your brand blueprint. I just wanted to bring that back because these are the pieces. This is the information that we're going to keep coming back to when we're building our marketing. And remind you again, I love honing in on this to keep it focused. Building a great brand is building trust. That's why people will do business with us, is because they trust us. There are ways to build brand credibility and then to be remembered when they're ready to buy. So how do you differentiate yourself? That is going to be very key in your website, in your marketing. How are you different from others? I know Shelby, in the nonprofit space, everybody's helping people, right? How are you different? I think you guys do a really good job with that. But there's maybe even a bit more for that donor. What are they looking for? And that stakeholder too. What are the different values that brings to them? Okay, so marketing and sales funnel, connecting online, that's what we're after. We want to look now, actually, this is just if we stop here and look at the awareness, this is how people buy. They become aware. They have a need, a problem, and now they're considering solutions. Oh, this is my problem. There are solutions out there. And then they have a decision to make. Who am I going to work with? So they're at one of these three phases in a very general perspective. In the past, 85%, this is just a random figure, but generally speaking, most of our focus was here. People would go to the store, or they would call the place, or they would meet the person, and they would make a decision based on that human connection, that human interaction. But now it's changed. We're still making decisions in the same way, but now we have to focus more of our time, our intention in the earlier stages. Because when people are looking, I have a problem. My last building services company, they wouldn't show up, or this is the third time they've not shown up. I need a new place. What are they going to do? You know, it used to be the yellow pages, go to the nearest two people and call them. So now they're going online, and they're going to visit a few websites. What's the impression that you're making? So, and then how are you connecting with them? So most of you are familiar with outbound and inbound marketing. Hi, Michael. Glad you could join us. Just in a brief nutshell, the outbound marketing is more interruptive. It's going to break into someone's day. The digital ads, cold calling, which some people think still works, and direct mail. It's dumped in their mailbox. So there is a place for interruptive kinds of things to let people know, especially if you can tie into their behavior on Facebook, that they've been looking at things like your company or organization. But if that's all we're doing, then that's pushing our message. If we can pull people or attract them in, that's inbound. That's permission marketing. We want them to give us permission to market to them. So that is by offering educational content, attracting them with events, tools. What is the value that you're bringing to them to want to learn more? So also, people will say, well, if I do how-tos, they pop on my site and they pop off. Well, that might not be your ideal customer, but you certainly are building your SEO ranking when you do that. The more people that are coming to your website from different IP addresses, the quicker your SEO credibility, your ranking will boost. So even if those people are not going to be your ideal customers, they're still finding there are more resources. They're coming from this social resource. They're coming from LinkedIn, Facebook, from the Auburn Hills Chamber website. They're coming from different credible websites. So I'm sure at Michigan.com, you guys offer that to people as, hey, this is going to really help you with your SEO because you're on Michigan.com. Yep. Okay, so let's keep moving. And then remember, just raise your hand if you have a question. Well, I'd rather you ask them when the information's presented than try to keep track of it and jump back. So we want to think about a process-driven revenue system. We're generating leads, we're nurturing those leads, and we're closing those leads. So let's go. This is what we want to have for your marketing sales funnel. Your clear message, we call it a 16-second story. Your website is your internet focus point. Lead generator, start with one or have more. Your nurture campaigns, and your sales process. So these are the things we're going to cover. This is not, by the way, right? We know marketing is a huge industry. There are so many channels that we can choose now. This is what we call is like your starting base. Let's make sure when people find you, they get to your website and they know exactly, and we'll get into that a little bit more, but exactly who you are and who you serve and what you do. So we want to have that compelling elevator pitch. We start with your problem or their problem, your solution, and then their happy ending. What's the problem? If I said to you, oh my word, Tom and Nick, they were there, and then suddenly they saw that car approaching. You're kind of left with this edge, and if I would have said Tom and Nick went to the store and there was an interesting car they liked. Okay. So what we want to do is get people on that cliffhanger a little bit, and people have that problem when people feel like their marketing is outdated or everyone's shooting from the hip and no one has the same story, what to say. They don't have a clear message. They're not attracting leads. If I state the problem first, people, who would be my customers? It's perking their interest. Oh, yeah, that's me. I feel that way. Getting into the feeling words. And then your solution. We have a process that captivates that mess or gets that compelling message in order to get the happy ending, captivate their ideal client, and they're getting more sales. So here's an example of a 16-second story. These are wealth management, they're private wealth advisors. People are unsure about who to trust with an investment plan to build their wealth. Yeah, that's me. I don't know who to trust. We work hard to elevate every client's investment experience with our compassionate service and proprietary defend and advance process for building wealth. And the happy ending is giving people solid confidence in their investment plan and in their future. So when we talk about this, people at first, giving this to every employee on the team, people thought this was a mouthful. How are we going to say that? But when we got everyone we had a competition, memorize it. When you memorize that compelling story and everyone's got it, then you start saying it more naturally. And you might not use, they built in a few things so that they could tweak it. So we work hard with compassionate service, and we have a proprietary process. It's our own. We call it the defend and advance process. So you can say it naturally, but everyone's saying it. That in itself, if that was the takeaway that you got today, is that everyone in your organization says the unique way that you solve that problem, and everyone's sharing it. That is a massive marketing message. You think about all your employees doing that for you. So let's do another one. Here's Augie's Building Services, another cleaning company that we worked with. Their 16-second story is down here. Many building managers are frustrated with the lack of reliability and high turnover with their cleaning and maintenance service providers. That's the problem. We serve our customers through systems that result in exceptional service with a shining attitude. And now the happy ending. People who live, work, and grow in the spaces we service thrive with a new perspective. That can be tweaked, it can be changed, you can try it out, but you're getting that sentence. Let's start with their problem. Here's how we solve it. There are so many coffee choices out there, from your grocery store to Trader Joe's. How do you know you're getting the best coffee? Call Mike. And why? Why do you want to work? So that's it. Any questions so far? All right. Here is the trick. When we're in the business, how do we talk in a way that can make prospects feel like we're really relating to them? We really struggled with this because we're logo snobs over here at Identity Creative. And for the longest time, Bill, who wanted to be on this call with us today, but was not able to be, He would not use the word logo. It's like, no, we're not using the word logo. It's not a logo. It's a brand identity. It's their brand identity. I'm like, yeah, honey, but nobody, we're husband, wife team. Okay, so, but nobody's sitting around a boardroom going, our brand identity looks outdated. Let's Google brand identity. That's not the word they're using. So how do they talk? How are they feeling? That's the challenge for us. So if we're going to build trust, we want to speak their language. And then we don't want to boss them around. We want to be their guide. We want to become their guide. And I'm going to send you guys to a website that you're going to love. It's a tool. It's by Don Miller. Raise your hand if you have heard of Story Brand by Don Miller. Don Miller is a fiction writer. Hold on a second. And he had written a lot of books, and he had written this one book and was struggling, I think, to sell it at this point. He came up with this idea. He was like, well, how do we sell movies? We sell them through trailers. So what I talked about before, like keep them on the edge. What's the problem? I want to hear the solution. So what he did was in the same way that he writes a book, he crafted a way to build your marketing message. When I first heard his presentation, I was like, this is phenomenal. This is what we do for companies, but it just put it in such a easy to understand for our clients to work through the process. And he has a free tool online. So I want to show you a bit about it. The character is your customer, your client, your donor, right? Your member, your organization member. That is the character. And you may have a number of them. So Auburn Hills has the challenge of having small business owners like us join, independent salespeople from a bigger company join, and then they have large corporate members. So they have to find a way to make each of this target. They have a number of characters they need to identify in order to solve those problems. Your organization may not have such a broad range of people to serve characters. The character is your customer, your client, and they are the hero. So often, and now you'll start noticing when you're flipping through a magazine or you go to a website or you see a billboard, when the company is all about us, we do this. It's not wrong to say we do this for you, but when we're sounding like the superhero, and that kind of makes our customer the victim. And we don't want to do that. We're not the superhero. They're the hero. And every hero in every great story has a problem they have to overcome. Okay, so there are levels of that problem. There's the internal problem. So one of the examples that Don Miller gives is the Star Wars. It's a great example because just about everybody's seen it, right? So Luke Skywalker has this existential problem. There's the good over evil, good versus evil. All of us can relate to that. Everybody watching knows that there's good and evil. Then there is the pressing problem. Our world is going to be destroyed. And then there's the internal problem. Can I do it? Do I have what it takes? And if we can remember every single one of our customers, our clients, the people we want to connect with, have that. Do I have what it takes on some level to solve this problem? Then here we come, we're the guide. We've been there. That's how we want to approach our marketing. We've been there. We understand the problems you have, and we can guide you to the solution. So we're the Yodas. We can teach you what you need to be the hero. We've got the process, we've got the system, we've got the products, we've got the people that can guide you to become the hero at your company. So when you think about your customers, your clients, so Hillary, someone's calling you for building services. Is it the admin? Is it what is their struggle? How do you make that that person who's got to find the cleaning solution the hero at the company, right?
Right.
So that if we can put ourselves in their shoes, a day in the life maybe of the customer is another great way to do that. So what we want to do is give them a plan. We want to reassure you, this is how we'll do it, and then call them to action. So your plan is going to be as varied as your organization. And then on your website, you want to call them to action. So if we think about marketing, someone is our customers on the other side of this, say this creek or whatever, and we see they have a problem and they see us. How do we get them to bridge that obstacle, that creek? There are so many obstacles for people to call us, to donate to your cause, to join your organization, to buy your product, to sign up for a subscription. There's a ton of distractions. Even if you are the great solution, how do we know that I'm so busy right now, I'll get to that later? And we pop off the website. So we need to give them a call to action. And whether it is a $5 product you're selling or a $50,000 product you're selling, you need to give them some steps to take. Here are the steps to take. You want a coffee that does bop, bop, and makes you feel great about your world. Pick your flavor. See, Mike. Pick your flavor. Place your order. Enjoy it. Enjoy. That's the plan, and then the call to action. Now, pick your flavor.
Linda, if I could also, I mean, you open the door, right? So we also made a concerted effort to keep the plan short.
Mm-hmm.
There's a million things we could have said.
Yep.
And I'm a big believer in, the power of three, so no more than three. But, we really, one or two things, it's like, as far as we're concerned, if our customer, which actually our customer is the buyer at a store.
Mm.
We have our online customers, that's different. But right now we're focusing at the buyers. And our decision was, if we have all these things that why we're so great and beautiful and blah, blah, the best, but they're not going to remember all of that. So it's like, what one or two can we just drive home and, as we say, claim? And I always we sit around the table and say, okay, finish this sentence. Nobody else.
Mm.
And when we got it down to where, well, there's only a couple other competitors that do this. Okay, good. We can maybe hammer that home. So, the calls to action, in my mind anyway, is you can't have too many.
Yes, I agree with that. And I'm really glad you said that. Part of my personality type is a C, so I like to get really into the details. And if it's hard to push, it's hard to edit out stuff. That's so hard to edit out. But when you narrow, this is what we do really well. That is enough for people to remember. 3 is the top for people to remember about your differentiator. But yes, 3 steps is great. 2 or 3. Mike, did you want to say something else?
Oh my, nobody ever usually asks me that. No, thank you. Usually quite the other. That's like.
Oh, I'm glad you said that, Mike. Keep it short and simple. It's great. That's a big reminder. Okay, so we want to have them end in success. That's the story. So we paint a picture of the transformation. That word should be there, the transformation. And also it's in this process too. I'll show you in the next slide. Or helps them avoid failure. So even on your website, if there's something people will miss out if they don't take an action, if they don't work with you, if they don't join, what is that risk? And if you can think about that, if we look at, here's where somebody is right now and they have a problem, maybe they feel like they're here now. And if you can show, ooh, here's a greater risk if you don't take an action, and here's the success. Now we've created that gap that makes them want to take action. That's more likely. Okay, so here's the tool. I have a link. I'll send it to you. I think it's like My Story Brand or mybrandscript.com. It is a great free tool online. It will walk you through in each one of these areas. There's questions to help you think through. I love the villain. If you can create a mythical villain in your customer's story about what they have to overcome, who's fighting against them. Sometimes it's the big guys who don't care. So it will walk you through here, and then the character transformation is down here. Your client, your customer, your member goes from this to this because you're their guide. If we get that transformation in there, that is a key piece. That's the differentiating piece for you. Okay, so now that we have that tool with, for the 16-second story and how to talk and understand our client, speak their language, we want to get to your website. So these are the things that we want to see on your website. Taking that customer journey, that process that we just talked about in your header. So the header, people will call it different things. The hero, it's that big piece that people see of the website first, whether it's a video or an image. But in that header, that's what they see first on your homepage. You want to have your solution in a very clear message that will show them, oh, these are the people that may solve my problem. This company could be my guide. And then also I'd like to see if we can get in there a way that they can understand that that's for me. This is who serves me. And then you want to include on that homepage pieces of that brand script, their problem in their words, right out the gate. So they go, that's exactly how I'm feeling. That's exactly what we're dealing with. The value, your unique solution, the risk, remember we just talked about that, if they don't buy from you. The proof, the validation. So in the brand script, he talks about that when you're with the guide. So we had to know that Yoda was a great Jedi. He needed validation. If you just say, hey, I read a great book on marketing, I'll help you. I don't know. But if you have 3 people say, she really helped me with my marketing, okay, that validates now you're credible. Remember, credibility, building trust. I can work with you. So if you've got testimonials, numbers of people you've served, whatever those are huge. That's a third-party endorsement, those testimonials. A lot of customers we have, they're like, do you have like testimonials? Oh, we've got some thank you notes that we've been getting over the years. So we pull those out. And these are great. Let's ask them if we can put them on the website. We don't have to identify who they are. So get those out there. And then we talked about the call to action. And now we want to talk about your lead generator. That is something that you are offering to them. It's irresistible for the person in that situation enough to want to give you their email address. So let's talk about your lead generator. When I talk about your lead generator, it is that thing on your website that if someone's interested in, they'll go, okay, I want to learn more from this company. I'll download this. I mean, Alex, even Auburn Hill Chamber, what are tools for a networking event or something that that you're giving people who you're likely going to have 50 other chambers downloaded. We notice that a lot with our lead generator. It's a lot of other designers or marketing firms that are downloading ours. That's okay. Remember, it's building our SEO, so that's fine. But we are also getting leads from it as well. So think about things. Checklists are great. People can read a blog all the time. There's a lot of free content out there. So if you say, download our white paper on whatever, building resources and how they're transforming companies, with cleaning products for the future. Well, I could probably find that online somewhere. I don't know that I need to give you my email for it. But if it is a checklist, a comparison checklist for comparing cleaning companies, things that you want to look for, or 10 tips for preparing for a cleaning company or to evaluate them or to help them make sure they're doing the service that you want. We have a checklist that we created for a manufacturing company. One of our clients, they repair servo motors. So we spent a lot of time working with the marketing director there. Marketing director has broken down the silos. He's been great between sales and customer service and the repair department. So he goes into the repair department and he goes, what's the problem people are having with their servo motors? What are they doing wrong? And how can we help them? How can we be the helper, right? The subject matter expert. We know all about servo motors. This is what we fix. So how can we help you fix them less? Have to send them in and fix them less. How we solve that problem so you don't even call on us as much. Wow, these people really are helpful. So we created a servo motor preventative maintenance checklist. And a lot of time at first it was I say this because you want to test and iterate. It has to be a valuable tool. So we did it in a vertical format, and then we changed it to landscape, and then we did a front and back, and then he kept going back to the service department going, how's this? And people were looking at it going, no, because some of our clients, they could easily have 150 servo motors in their plant. This wouldn't work for them, but if we had this, they'd have to know this, and so we kept changing it and tweaking it. And then we had it printable for some that are still using paper, and we created a digital format. And are they getting 50 leads a day? No, but they're getting 3 or 4 a week. And this has been up there for a year of good prospects, because it's really focused on the kinds of people they want to serve. So it's a great tool. A buying guide, how-tos, they can be videos, events. So I just downloaded I was watching a video about helping people hone in on their mission and vision and values. And this woman spoke it so well. I loved what she was saying. Oh, she has a workbook. So I downloaded the workbook. It was a video on YouTube that led me to her website, her landing page. So if you've got someone there, and they don't have to be like high professional, depending on your brand, if they're how-tos. Okay, so what do you tell people again and again? What are your salespeople saying over and over again? Well, you don't want to do that because of this. What's the advice you're giving? That could be a clue for a great lead generator. What are the problems that they're encountering that you can help solve? That example is the servo motor maintenance checklist. Our checklist is just everywhere you could put your logo if you're thinking about rebranding. So then we created, I think we sent that out to you guys too. If you're thinking about it, we just built this Excel budgeting calculator. So if you need new signage, so you can make a plan. We actually turned away somebody who said, I want a logo this month. And they have trucks and they have signs. And we said, well, are you ready to launch it if you get it? Oh, no. That wouldn't be till probably the year after. We've got to save up some money. So let's think this through and do it at the right time. And then what would be valuable enough? So test and iterate. You can always change. It's a digital document. You can change it. Any questions on a lead generator? Yeah, Mike? Did you mean to unmute?
Oh, I just unmuted it. It's no, it's very good.
Okay.
Roster of lists there, and I like it because I always look at things in terms of like time and money. And these are way back. I call 30,000 feet above the earth, looking down. You can save time or you can save money, and we've had best success saving people time with checklists, with buying guides, and say, hey, we can help you do your job better, easier, faster, whatever. Versus, which I like that you don't have it on here, is give them a discount on the first buy. That's so short term.
Yes.
After they make that first buy, they're going to say we unsubscribe. But these are all time savers. Yeah.
Yes, Mike, I again, an excellent point. I should put that in here.
If you can save people time, I give the example of a 7-Eleven store selling bananas for 75 cents a piece attached to a grocery store selling a pound for 33 cents. The 77-cent bananas are flying out the door because they're saving people time. They're paying extra money.
Mhm.
Might be a stupid example, but I get it.
Well, it's understanding the customer and what kind of customers walk into 7-Eleven. What choices we didn't used to see bananas at 7-Eleven.
No, you didn't.
No way.
And, so, but it's again, they're 7-Eleven's playing off. Okay, we're gonna save you a bunch of time. You want to think you're eating healthy for lunch? Go ahead, get a banana. But I'm a big believer. If you can time, and these things, the things that you listed there are teach people to do things better to save time, I suppose.
Yeah. Well, when you're going through that brand script and you see their problem is time, their problem may not be time. They might want a great Airbnb. They, maybe it's time looking for it or sorting through it, how to filter it through, but what is the problem? That's really what we want to nail, what they're feeling frustrated with. And since you brought up the discounts, coupons, it just grieves me when we get those, home buyer things, whatever, they come in the mail, and every mason worker, landscaper has a discount, a coupon. I just want to go, that's that company, that marketing company saying, oh, you want a call to action, put in a coupon, you'll get more calls, because their problem is they want to make sure that people are getting results and calls. So that's a shortcut. It's not lasting. If our unique differentiator is that we're going to be cheaper than others, then that is a quick race to the bottom. Unless you're Walmart and you can squeeze the life out of your companies that you're buying from and reduce their profit margins for that demand, you're not going to be the lowest price. Someone will always be able to come under you. And then how does that impact your service? So we really, really work to put price off the shelf, because if your value is high enough, people will go for the value rather than the lower price. So I'm really glad you brought that up, Mike. All right, so now we're going to talk about nurture campaigns, and we want to think about where we're putting out that message. We want to send it out on social media. If we're having a webinar or events, if you're doing that disruptive Google AdWords, which has a place when someone's searching, can they find you? So you put it out there and lead them to your website landing page. This is not your homepage. We made a mistake years ago we did have a landing page. It wasn't a great landing page, but I've seen people buy Google ads or Facebook ads and take people to their homepage. And that is too much. It's too general. You want to have a very clear landing page with that form in order to get that download. So whether it is a marketing comparison guide, or a shopping guide, have a landing page for it. You can have 15 landing pages on your website, but have a page specifically dedicated to that lead generator. A landing page, someone recently asked me, a landing page is just any page people land on your website. Your URL, your main URL, your domain name will take them to your homepage as a landing page. So this is why this lead generator will be of value to you. You want to get it to help you. Here's the form. And I really encourage you to always at least get the first name, and I'll get to that in the next slide. And then send them the download. It can be a opt-in form. Thanks for doing this, a follow-up. Then you can send them, hey, you got that tool. How's it going? Are you using it this way? Think about some of the ways that they might be using that tool that you can follow up to serve, and then make the call. Connect with them. So you've been nurturing that. Remember, we talked about that, where the decision making, and now we're focusing our effort on technology, letting the automations, letting all that hard work you put into this do the automatic work for you. Someone pops on your website, you're busy doing your business, they see that form, that's really going to be helpful to them. And then your software lets you know this person downloaded it. That's really important. Now, how are you going to follow up with them? Is it right to make a call? Should I let the email go? What's their engagement like? So those are decisions that you're going to make with your sales team. wanted to say something else, but I forgot it. So the personalization is huge. If someone sees their first name in the subject line, they're more likely to open that. If it's a compelling subject line, they see it there. You can insert with most marketing automation tools now. If you got whatever you got on that form, you can put their company name. So I know, Alex, that would be great for the chamber to be able to say, even a marketing automation can do a lot with building customer loyalty. So keep that in mind. Your customers are selling to other customers. So when you're using your marketing automation, you've created anniversary dates. So, hey, you've been with us for a year. It's been 3 months here. So I think even Hillary, that follow-up would be, you've been with us for 3 years. We want to check in. How's it going? We want you to rate us 3 stars, 5 stars, whatever. And then, Alex, you could do the same thing and have their company be inserted. Same thing, Shelby, you attended this event. We want evaluation forms. A lot of people are happy to give feedback. We want to hear, how could we have made it better for you? Okay, and then the sales process. We're doing on time. Good. We want to create a revenue team culture. Everyone in the company is a salesperson. Everyone in the company is helping spread that brand marketing message. So everyone understands. We want to make sure that the problem you solve and the value that you provide. That gets back to that sentence, our 16-second story. Can everyone in our company say it? Don Miller said that I don't know how many employees he had at the time, but he said, I just stuck a wad of $5 bills in my shirt pocket, and I would go around as I'm walking through the office and ask people to say it. If they could say it without stammering, I gave them a $5 bill. So I've heard people say, if you can't, you can't say it, $5 or $10 goes into a donation bin. So that, Shelby, that would be great for you guys. Okay. The company, no, wait, this is a nonprofit. It's a company donating, making a donation for everybody who, I remember the motivation had to be right so that people didn't just get money for themselves. Okay, kind of getting stuck there. The next, the brand marketing is integrated into the life cycle. So we talk about the brand blueprint coming back, remembering, are we using our phrases? Are we using the language in our emails? Does every footer in our email close with that? Are we reminding people? Also be thinking about the call to action too. We always want to help people take the next step. Over communicate your content strategy and assets through the company. So this is really trying to break down, if we're a small company, we've got marketing and sales, we're all together. But as the companies grow, sales is over here, marketing is over here, and branding, who's doing that? So branding should have its own chief brand officer to make sure, and that should be the CEO. A lot of time it's not. They have their own thing, feels like they're preaching at people. So I understand that. But you want that every salesperson, everybody on the team to know what assets you have. So an example of a fail on this, we have a client that we built with their marketing director, some really nice email nurtures for their client base. And it was on products that they sold, and it could cross-sell. So if they were interested in one product line, they would get emails on how to use that, and it would overcome obstacles in that consideration phase. And then it would also mention, because of this or this, so it could cross-sell. Oh, you guys do this too. There were 5 email nurture flows that the salespeople could go right into their CRM, their Salesforce, and go, oh, this person was just interested in this. I could say, we have some great information about that product or the solution. Can I send you some emails on it? Sure. So they could go in, enter that person, and click that product line, and it would automatically start sending out these nurture campaigns on a flow. The sales manager was not telling the salespeople about it. So marketing worked really hard to build this nurture that could be building this automation tool. The salespeople heard about it once. Marketing director presented, was like, I don't know, I hate using Salesforce anyway. Ugh. So there's this disconnect. It's really a shame. Here are these great assets that you can use. There's downloads. You could print them out. You could take them to your chamber event and pass these out. And when somebody wants more, you can lead them to sign up for more emails, so that it's really building. You want to share that, break down those silos between marketing and sales, and then integrate your CRM with your lead nurture software. So keep that communication. If marketing is doing something, I think I get into the channel. So if you're using something like MailChimp or Constant Contact, MailChimp can sync with Salesforce. You want to see, can we send a ping, a notification? MailChimp and Constant Contact are growing in their automations. It's been a while since I've worked with them, but can they, when somebody opens an email, can a notification be sent to a salesperson? Hey, they were just sent this. Now would be a great time to reach out to them. So you want to make sure that there's a handoff from those leads that you've worked so hard. You got the message, the website, the lead generator, they filled out your form, they're getting your emails, they're falling in love with your product, and nobody calls them. Have you ever filled out one of those get an insurance quote online.coms? We'll do all the searching for you. I did that once last time because I hit submit and my phone rang. I was like, they're calling me. Like, it's a great system. I'm talking to somebody and I was like, oh my word, it scared the tar out of me. Okay, so there are other much more robust, HubSpot, Keep, which they rebranded. They used to be Infusionsoft. Then they got the reputation of being Confusionsoft, so they rebranded. And then there's Act-On is another one. Salesforce does not have its own. Salesforce can do some emailing, but it's Pardot is its marketing arm, and you really need coders, people who are excellent at what they do, very focused to use Pardot. So we like SharpSpring. SharpSpring was built to integrate as a solution instead of Pardot. SharpSpring is more expensive than MailChimp or Constant Contact, but not as expensive, not as nickel and dime for those things as HubSpot. So we're silver partners. We are licensed to sell and operate SharpSpring. But one thing about your marketing automation is you want to know, is this sustainable? So the bigger the platform, the more of a learning curve you're going to have. And do you have the team or the talent or the money to hire someone to do it? If you just want to get started on this, I would recommend doing MailChimp or Constant Contact. I prefer Constant Contact because they have phone service when tech support when you're buying, when you have a paid subscription. MailChimp is always just email, which sometimes is great, but sometimes it's annoying. So that's about the software. There's a ton more out there. You can go to Capterra, CAPTERRA.com to compare any software buys you want to make, and they have real reviews from people on using them. Any questions about marketing software?
I'm going to take a quick second and give you a 5-minute warning.
Yep, I saw that. Thanks. I think we are wrapping up. I appreciate that, Jean. So we want to create a marketing strategy that can adapt with your brand messaging. Here's where to start. Start with what you have. Pull it out. What do we have so far? Look at our brochures. We're constantly iterating, like, why did we say that? Man, bummer, we printed that out on all of those. It's just whatever it is. We're adapting, we're growing, we're changing. So pull it together and see what you have, build on what you have already. And then you want to determine where you can make the most sustainable impact. Where are you getting your best leads? where are people going to be finding you? If they are searching and you want to use paid search like Google AdWords, make sure those Google AdWords are leading them again to a specific landing page that has a clear call to action, and maybe a number of call to actions. It could be a form or make a call, depending on what they want to do. Some with set up a text or a calendar appointment. Think about what kinds of, what is the next step in your process and how might people be most comfortable with that. But whatever it is, you want it to be sustainable so that, I had one business owner, he was thinking about marketing software. He's like, yeah, maybe we'll try HubSpot or SharpSpring. We're not sure. But, my marketing is like, let's just throw it at the wall and see if it sticks. Well, you don't want to do that with marketing software because your investment in time, you really want to evaluate them. And then test and commit. Keep your message clear. And this is work. Stick with it. It's not easy. But you clarify your brand, build it on a brand blueprint, create your look and message, and then connect. That's your marketing, sales, your culture, the brand you're building. And as you're creating new content, keep going back, keep revisiting those pieces so that you're building that brand consistency. That is going to be adapting and growing with you for a sustainable brand. Look at those dollar signs growing. So coming back to your brand blueprint, we talked about this before. I won't go into it again, but that's reiterating that last diagram. Building that brand blueprint and then how that impacts your marketing and sales graphically, the messages, your brand architecture, your key differentiator, other things that set you apart. We have this again, if you wanted to go back to that, we have that tool. And we also have the marketing automation comparison guide from 2020. So we're still making this available for a short time, but I would definitely look into it more deeply with something like Terra if you're thinking of buying into. So I know we opened it up to questions as you were going. We want to just wrap it up, but we can stay for a few minutes after if you have any questions. The remarkable advantage is the perfect impression, and a remarkable brand brings it to life. So thanks for listening.
Okay, does anybody have any questions?
Did it seem overwhelming? Did it seem like bite chunks you could take? My hope is that you guys have all been in business for a while, that you can see we are doing this and we have this, we could tweak this, so there's a gap there.
Well, I think, Linda, one of the things that I would like to just chime in is no matter what industry or what you do, what you just went over the last 3 sessions works. It works for service, it works for educational, it works for government, it works for private business, consumer goods. It's a process that will work. You can lay it into anything. And I laugh about your description of one company, the marketing and salespeople didn't really talk. That's probably the 3rd oldest profession in the world. They hate each other. And if you got a company and your marketing and salespeople don't hate each other, get rid of one of them. You want them to hate each other.
No.
Yes, you do. Number one, they both claim success. The company succeeds, they're both got both thumbs pointing, and you want that. In the end, nothing happens until somebody sells something, right?
Okay, I have to take you to task on that one. Michael, this is in 3 sessions the first time I've disagreed with you. So I love a debate. That's my family. Yeah. We had people come over and they go, you guys argue a lot. It's like, no, it's a good, healthy debate.
It's a debate. No,
so
marketing and sales.
No. If you think about it, the sales team, wouldn't they love leads? We had that marketing director that I talked to you about. He was the second one we worked with at this company. The first one, he was the sticker calendar guy. He'd order the pens, the shirts. The marketing guy ordered the stickers, the calendars. They're going to factories. We need calendars. We need magnets so that people remember to call us. The second marketing director goes, okay, I'll get you your stickers and magnets, but I also want to drive leads when people are searching online. So it took a while to give me some time, but I need to talk to you. And we met with them too. We brought the sales team around the table. We had the regional ones on a call in. So we had a big meeting with everybody, and we're just taking notes and recording it. What are the primary objections? What's keeping people? Why are they going to your competitors? So we could craft a lead generating tool that would separate them from their competitors. So now this company, the salespeople are seeing the leads coming in all different around the country and from Australia, South Africa, because of this servo motor preventative maintenance tool. They're seeing the leads come in and they're saying now to marketing, hey, could we do this? I'm hearing this from people. So that's breaking down that silo. So we're team, we've got the same, that was getting back to that, create a revenue generating culture. Did I score a point?
It works best if it works that way.
But you have to have a healthy culture. So if there's that, this is my territory. Yeah.
What you need is a CEO or a chief marketing officer or chief sales, whoever's in charge, to come in and say, okay, stop it. We're all working together here.
Yeah.
And that you do need a strong leader in that case. And sometimes they say, you guys work it out, and that's not a good thing to say. But it is, and because marketing, I always say, studies the past, study the heck, who's buying, who's the profile, creating that character that you talked about. The salespeople are out there on the streets working in real time and saying, okay, hey, we got to sell. We got to take everything we learned from marketing. And then when the sale comes in and the deal is closed and the revenue starts coming in, they're both saying, well, without me, you're not going to do this. And then the salespeople are like, well, I'm the one out there closing. And then you throw in the telemarketing and the lead generation technology and things. And that's a whole third component, which is good. So, but anyway, I didn't mean to hijack anything.
No, that's great. But if sales, and we talked with salespeople, there's a chemical company here in Michigan. Their CEO was just like, nope, knock on doors, shake hands. That's how you do business. And we did a rebranding for them, and we were sitting at the table, the leadership table, and the head chemist was there. And I mentioned about their website being very old and it didn't help their customers. And the CEO said, who's going to buy chemicals from us on our website? And the head chemist said, that's where I buy chemicals. I go to people's websites. So he was so backward and so reluctant to spend money on the marketing tech, that he put his salespeople, when we think about that diagram, people are making decisions now online. So much of their consideration is that part.
But I just wanted to see if, Linda, if you had some final thoughts or if anyone else had just some final comments, let's wrap things up.
No, just thank everybody for coming. You've been a great participants, and I hope you have a lot of success, and you watched this, you stayed through it. So if you want to run past, hey, what do you think about this 16-second story or whatever, shoot me an email, and I'd love to give you feedback.
That is awesome. And, Linda, I want to also just mention to everyone too, of course, that this is your business and you are happy to sign on and consult and work with companies and step in even for those in their own marketing roles, just to simply provide your feedback and expertise and advice. And so for those of you that, whether your company or you're speaking with someone else who is looking for some assistance in this area, please consider and think about Linda and Bill and Identity Creative, because they are experts in their right and have been doing this for many years. So yeah. So thank you, Linda, for everything.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Jean and Alex too.
All right. Well, everybody, we will see you soon, I'm sure, and sooner rather than later at in-person events too. Yay. Very exciting. So, all right. Have a great day, everybody.